is Estevan.
Well, it looks like the show has got past the fifth inning before the rain might stop it, so that'll make it an official show, will it not? No! That's what the Florida Panthers were thinking last night, and they crapped themselves and they lose. I just got hammered with rain again. Oh, here comes the wind. My door is open. Can you take over for a second? You hearing the sirens?
Unbelievable.
This is the Rod Pedersen Show.
Oh, thanks for the reminder, guys. Thanks. Welcome to the RP Show, everybody. Happy Monday. I'm going to tell you right now, and I'll be saying it many times, I literally could not be happier. We're on location, as you can see, from beautiful Estevan, Saskatchewan, an Affinity Place, the nicest junior A hockey barn in all of Canada. And that would make it the world, right? Darren Moose DuPont. If you're the best junior A rank in Canada, that would make it the best in the world.
It should.
It would stand to reason.
Yes.
And here we are on day 5, if you can believe, of the Centennial Cup, the National Junior A Hockey Championship. And on the way, we got a lot of guests. We're going to be here all week long. It's a little late. Yeah, it's Monday. In this province and maybe this country, it's a holiday today. Yep. I don't know if it is. For us, we're on the air, and it's fantastic. But it's day 5 of the tournament. So in our quick 6, we're going to get to NHL Stanley Cup results. We're going to get to the Blue Jays series on the weekend against the Reds. We're going to talk about Justin Thomas and the PGA Championship, probably some football stuff. But I just got to set the scene. I'm not as good-looking, not as well-dressed James Duffy. This is what I feel like on the concourse at Affinity Place. The scene is this. 10 teams from across Canada, the best junior A teams, representatives of all the leagues, are here. And on day 5, the host Estevan Bruins are 0-2 and fighting for their lives tonight against the Red Lake Miners. Right. It's not over at all. And we've got a lot of time to settle into the stories and the storylines and interview everybody. And I will tell you that coming up on the program in moments, Alan May, Washington Capitals TV analyst from Fox Sports writers at NBC Sports.
Yeah.
NBC's Alan May will be in that chair coming up in the next segment. He is an Estevan Bruins alum. He's come for this whole tournament, but he also analyzes the NHL, and he lives in Dallas. Figure that one out. But we're all sitting here scratching our heads going, we thought the city would be vibrating and bumping, but the host team is 0-2, and we're trying to figure out why. Well, they earned their way here as the champions of the Saskatchewan Junior Hockey League. And even on the way in here from Florida on the weekend, I was thinking, well, they're going to get their rings. They're going to raise a banner. They've already won a championship. What's left? All the other teams don't feel that way.
Yeah.
So there might have been a little bit of hunger missing for the Estevan Bruins. So tonight, they play the Red Lake Miners, 7:30 p.m. here at Affinity Place. Their season, really, this tournament is on the line here tonight over my shoulder. And the Red Lake Miners, they're from Ontario, right? I'm still figuring out all the teams and where they're from. They're out having their morning skate. To say I'm the happiest guy in the world and wouldn't want to be anywhere else is a fact, Jack.
You and I have traveled all over this country.
Continent.
Junior hockey, the continent. Junior hockey, professional hockey, you name it. There's nothing better than being with a coffee in hand at a morning skate, which is literally what we're doing today, except we get to talk about sports for the 2 hours as well. I guess this is the greatest.
Did I tell you I couldn't be happier? I can literally say Tim Hortons finally sponsoring everything. It's all you can eat hockey, donuts, and coffee.
Yes.
I like it.
It doesn't get better. So anyways, Alan May coming up. But as I should also mention Bernie Nicholls, Weekend at Bernie's, from BetRegal, the exclusive betting partner of both this show and the CFL. Their NHL ambassador, Bernie Nicholls, is going to be with us in hour one. And in hour two, the commissioner of the Canadian Elite Basketball League, Mike Morreale, is going to be with us because their season tips off this week. But before we go any further, then, that's the preamble, and we've set the stage. Now let's hit the quick six show horn, please, Director Jordan. Please and thank you. I get so many things to get to. So I've broken down Sunday's Stanley Cup playoff games as point 1, 2, and 3. So number one, we're going to start with the fact that Evander Kane scored a natural hat trick during an electric 6-minute span, and Oilers captain Conor Mcdavid provided more magic with 3 assists as the Edmonton Oilers downed the Calgary Flames 4-1 Sunday to take a 2-1 lead in the Battle of Alberta. Neon Leon set an NHL record with 4 assists in a single playoff period. Jacob Markstrom allowed 4 goals on 34 shots before being pulled for the Flames Game 4 Tuesday in Edmonton. Just this morning, I did an interview with the Epoch Times newspaper. They asked me my take on the Battle of Alberta and if this compares at all to the 80s battles of Alberta. And I said, nothing compares to that in terms of roughness, violence. And the writer Lee Harding's about my age. He watched it too. Marty McSorley beat up Lanny McDonald back then. Do you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
But it's not to say it's not rough, but Milan Lucic running Mike Smith last night was nothing. That probably wouldn't have been a penalty in the 80s. But my take, and I want the viewers' take, and everybody else's here as we've joined for coffee, presented by Tim Hortons on last night's game. I did not see this series turning like this.
No, I didn't either, Rod. I mean, you look at Game 1, and it was a 3-goal game, but it might as well have been a 10-goal game. Calgary dominated that game from start to finish. And then it started to swing. Game 2 was pretty even. The bounces went Edmonton's way, and they won. But Game 3 was all Edmonton. So now they've kind of split a game, and they've each dominated a game. Edmonton's up 2-1. I don't know what's going to happen on Tuesday, but, man, it's been fun to watch.
I'm not done putting the game to bed yet. I'm going to read some comments from the viewers. BW in Edmonton in the chat says, awesome to see the RP show on a holiday Monday. Ryan 8 says, hi from Toronto. What an awesome backdrop from Randy in Winnipeg. Now that's a junior rink I would go to a dozen times a year. Well, hopefully more. And the regular people all chiming in this morning. So start spreading the news. We're live from Affinity Place in Estevan. And if I talk about what this city means to me, I will very likely tear up. So I won't say too much. They know.
Yeah.
Something about me and Estevan just clicked. And yesterday there was a barbecue. Melody Pearson, 40-plus years as a billet of the Estevan Bruins, was announced last night by her 2 sons, Jeff and Brad, is going into the Estevan Bruin Alumni Hall of Fame for her years of service to the franchise. And so there were people walking around the barbecue yesterday saying, are you guys Bruins? To me and Moose, former Bruins? And I said, no, we're broadcasters. And I don't really know how the hell we got here. I said that. You were sitting there.
Yeah.
And Mel, the lady that's going into the Hall of Fame, she's like, well, I don't know, Rod. I just figured this would be something that you'd like here today. She said, we got to know each other through hockey, and I just wanted you here today.
How did you get to the community barbecue? Yeah.
It hits you in the feels. Back to Edmonton. Jason Austin says, if there's a hockey god, Flames deserve a break. BOA has been so one-sided for decades. What are you talking about? They deserve a break. Make your own breaks. And with Daryl Sutter, what he said after the game last night, I mean, I get into a point where love Daryl, but his news conferences, I could really take or leave. He was obviously upset. His team just lost.
Yeah.
But the reporters are just trying to do their job. And what he said with Lucic was this was true. He was right about this. He's like, if he really wanted to run Mike Smith would have been put through the boards.
Yeah.
Lucic did back off, but I go back to this thing with, McSorley spearing Mike Bullard or beating up Lanny or certain things what guys like that do. I would put Lucic in the Matthew Barnaby, Stu Grimson. That snap. You can't explain why you do these things.
Yeah.
Frustration. The game was out of reach.
100%. There's lots of frustration. You want to set a tone for next game. You want to kind of get them off their game, get them thinking about you instead of the other game plan things and tactics that they're thinking about. Anything to get them off their game or to fire your team up. And you also, not that they were watching earlier. But you look at the night before, and it was, Kadri taking Jordan Binnington out of the game completely changed the game. I think it's going to completely change the series. Binnington's not going to play now, and the Avalanche are going to roll. So you get in Mike Smith's kitchen a little bit, try and get him off his game, because he's been playing pretty good the last couple, and then all of a sudden the Flames can roll. Maybe Lucic is thinking that.
How we roll here. Alan May texted me. I wasn't ignoring you, Alan May, wanting to know where we're set up, because this is the first day of our broadcast in this beautiful facility this week. We'll move on, but I knew that we were going to spend a lot of time on the Oilers and Flames, of course. It's what the whole country is talking about. Stephen, watching on YouTube, says, thanks, Toronto, for Hyman. So the Leafs are getting bashed for letting Zach Hyman go, which they should have never have let him get away. No. They should not have. And the Leafs are watching on TV. I don't know what to say. I'll say this about the Oilers. The writer for Epic Times this morning, he's like, Roddy, you still an Oilers fan? I'm like, what day is it? So spent 3 months in Calgary where the Flames treated us so well. So no, I'm not an Oilers fan at all. But I will say this. Have they voted on GM of the Year yet? Because they do have an award for that,
Haven't voted. Well, I'm sure they did, but...
No, I'm just saying, is the voting done?
Yeah, I'm sure it is.
They shouldn't vote until after the playoffs.
For that one.
Look what Ken Holland did.
Yeah.
For that one, coaches too.
Yeah, coaches too.
Ken Holland. Don't make me say it. And I like Holly. Mike Smith seems to be the Mike Smith that they wanted him to be. Evander Kane's playing like he's got no problems at all in this world. Every move's paid off. And I will tell you, I was in the Red Deer Centrium, 3 weeks ago, talking to the Oilers staff. And I'll say it again for those that missed it. The relief emanating off the Oilers staff, and Holland was one. It looked like a mist or like a steam. It wasn't a smoke. You could see it. They were so relieved. They had just clinched the night before a playoff spot. And the one guy I talked to with the Oilers said, everything's coming together at the right time. Who saw this coming, Darren? And good for them, but good for them.
Ken Holland did. It's funny. We were talking about this.
Job.
And these guys and girls in Estevan, they're so interested in what we're doing in the business and everything. And it's super cool. And I don't remember what we got talking about, if it was even about that or if it was about sports or what. But the saying we talked about is, people are so hesitant to give up today for success tomorrow. Give up a little bit of pain today for success tomorrow. They all want success now. So you look at all these moves Ken Holland's made, they didn't turn into instant success right away. But over time, this group has just narrowly come together. You look at, Duncan Keith now still, contributing. Go back to Jesse Puljujärvi, who they brought back. Cody Ceci, Zach Hyman, right? Evander Kane. These are all moves sticking with Mike Smith. They don't work every day, and you don't have instant success. But over time, those pieces gel, and it becomes the right mix of guys.
And last to say, the series ain't over yet, by the way. This isn't like the old days, that it's not like junior hockey playoffs. The boys are here. Not like junior hockey playoffs in that it's not night to night. Imagine if they're playing tonight. I would expect a little bit of the momentum from Sunday carrying over into night. But that doesn't happen anymore. There's a day off in between games. Not the Florida-Tampa series, which I'm getting to, but I don't expect the Game 3 momentum to roll into Game 4. Game 4 could and probably will be an entirely different game.
Yeah.
It could be the Flames game, and what they're battling right now is all mental, and I feel like this is the post-game / pre-game for the Battle of Alberta Game 3 and 4. That's what this show is right now. Yeah. Daryl said some of our players were, what did he say, caught off guard by the atmosphere or not ready for the atmosphere?
Yeah. On the stage.
Oilers are a young team too, Daryl. He's making excuses for them, I felt. Now, what he's saying behind closed doors is probably entirely different.
But it happened at Edmonton too. They go into Calgary, and before you blink your eyes, it was 2-0.
Yeah.
Each game. And then they settled in. So can Calgary now settle in and not be, because that building was really loud last night. The top was blowing off of it. And Edmonton came out strong. So it's a lot of pressure on Calgary in Game 4. Tons.
We are still on point one, or at least we were. We invite you to text in if you're watching on Game Plus television all across Canada or 31 U.S. states. 902-518-3033. Pick up the phone and text RP right here. Or if you're watching on YouTube, share it, like it, tell your friends, and join the discussion here. So I will move on, other than to say our poll question today for Capital Auto Mall Universal Collision Center with dealerships all across the prairies. It was my question. Is Connor McDavid the most dominant player the NHL's ever seen? I'm voting yes, but a slight majority saying no. Slight majority last I saw, like 56% saying no, he's not. And we'll move on from this. Gretzky never did this. Wayne was what he was, but he wasn't doing this. And I would love your thoughts on that. People are saying, no, Lemieux is more dominant. No, not with what Connor McDavid's doing. It's ridiculous. Point two, Steven Stamkos scored twice, and Nikita Kucherov had 4 points as the Tampa Bay Lightning beat the Florida Panthers 5-1, and they can finish the sweep tonight. I'll just say what my brother said. The Panthers are where the Lightning were 3 years ago. So if they can keep this group together, there's going to be a lot of winning for the Panthers in the spring, but they're not doing it now. And they're done tonight, I would think. So I'm going to move on, okay?
Yeah.
Point three, Mika Zibanejad had a goal and an assist. Igor Shesterkin stopped 43 shots, and the New York Rangers beat the Carolina Hurricanes 3-1 to cut the Canes' lead to 2-1. Game 4 goes Tuesday in New York. We're going to move on, just other than to tell you this Saturday night, Jeff Foxworthy, the largest selling comedy recording artist in history, a multiple Grammy Award nominee and best-selling author of more than 26 books, brings his brand new The Good Old Days tour to Grey Eagle Resort and Casino in Calgary. That's this Saturday night. Tickets are on sale now at Ticketmaster.ca. Centennial Cup stuff, because that's why we're here. Presented by Tim Hortons and the city of Estevan, beautiful Estevan, Saskatchewan. Here's what happened on Sunday. Pickering, Ontario. They might be the sneaky dark horses of this whole darn thing. Mm-hmm. They won 3-2 over Longueuil, Quebec in overtime, 3-2. Pickering's 3-0. And we had brunch with them yesterday morning. Were they gone by the time you showed up?
Nope. They were in
Willie's Tap House. The whole team. Good-looking young men. They carry themselves very professionally.
Yes.
Longueuil is 1-2, so they got a win, but they're 1-2, Quebec. And the Dauphin Kings beat Summerside PEI 7-1. You know, the host committee wanted to bring us here, but it's great for us too to be here. There's teams from all the way from Brooks, Alberta to Summerside PEI and their fans. They brought their fans with them.
You know.
And we're just having so darn much fun. So Dauphin with a win is 1-1. Summerside with a loss is 1-1. And there's a triple header here today. The Ottawa Junior Senators are playing Sioux at noon. So you're going to be hearing loud music and stuff going on from the warm-ups. I think we can handle it. Ottawa Junior Senators are 0-1. They've been here 5 days and only played one game, which means it's going to get busy.
Real busy.
For them.
Yeah.
Sioux 0-2. So two teams looking for their first win, Sioux and Ottawa. And then at 4 p.m., it's the Flin Flon Bombers. Watch out for the Flin Flon Bombers. They're 2-0, and they're hungry. And they're playing Summerside PEI 1-1, who I think was the first team Gerard Gallant ever coached. I'm pretty sure that he was. That's where he got his start in coaching.
Okay.
The Rangers head coach. This is grassroots hockey, y'all. That's why we love it so much. And at 7:30 p.m. tonight, it's the host Estevan Bruins. If they don't win tonight, it is over. It's Vince Carter in the dunk competition. It's over. If Estevan doesn't win tonight. And they're playing Red Lake Miners. And, well, it's same thing for them. They're 0-2.
Yeah.
So there'll be some buzz here tonight, and if they don't get it done, it will be over. I see we're over time for a break. You keep visiting amongst yourselves in the chat. If you've got hockey, football, baseball questions, fire 'em at us on the 902 text line. Alan May, Bruins alum and current Washington Capitals analyst from NBC Sports, joins us next right here on set. You're watching the RP Show live from the Centennial Cup, presented by Tim Hortons and the city of Estevan on the Game Plus TV network, YouTube Live, and 24-hour sports radio at rodpedersen.com.
Rod Pedersen, back in Canada. He must be lost. On location, brought to you by the city of Estevan. Head to youtube.com/The Rod Pedersen Show now. You gotta subscribe. Click the subscribe button for all the content you may have missed.
Universal Collision Center is Saskatchewan's premier auto body shop. Our extensive process ensures that every vehicle that comes through our state-of-the-art facilities is returned pre-accident condition, and that every UCC customer experience is an easy one. We're certified to repair all makes, all models, and all luxury brands, and Universal Auto Spa offers full-service detailing packages to suit you and your vehicle. Plus, we're the official body shop of your Saskatchewan Rough Riders. Universal Collision Center, 3910 Rochdale Boulevard and 2355 First Avenue in Regina.
Grey Eagle Resort and Casino.
This is a bedtime story and a rise and shine. A fishing story and an epic night. A place for kids to play and adults to unwind. This is Estevan.
Bronco Plumbing, Heating, and Cooling. Experts in all residential and commercial plumbing services and proudly serving Regina and area since 1978. Bronco Plumbing, Heating, and Cooling. We'll treat you right.
Hey, Rod Squad, now you can join the team with your very own RP Show gear. Head to rodpedersenshop.com and get yours today while supplies last. It's just like we wear on the show, official RP Show gear at rodpedersenshop.com.
A legend throws 713 yards in a single pro football game.
A legend wins 3 Grey Cup MVP awards.
Allen looking deep.
A legend scores 1,209 points in 1,127 NHL games. Play among legends at BetRegal.net.
Smoky in the air, that's a lot of pine. Big time, big time, big time, big time.
Here's how your business can be a part of Canada's fastest growing sports talk show. All you have to do is contact us, and we will tell you all about the dynamic and exciting marketing opportunities we have, utilizing a fully integrated 360-degree multi-platform. Imagine your business seen and heard across Canada on Game Plus TV and around the world on the Rod Pedersen Digital Network. You will use one of the most overused expressions in sports. You gotta be kidding me. Get your business involved. Contact the Rod Pedersen Show today.
On location at the 2022 Centennial Cup, brought to you by the City of Estevan.
It is the RP Show, and you're looking at the iconic water tower here in the Energy City, Estevan, Saskatchewan. As Rick Regan just said, the home of the Centennial Cup. And I cannot tell you how excited I am to welcome our next guest. Alan May is no stranger to this show, nor this town. He played for the Estevan Bruins from 82 to 85. Brandon Wheat Kings, Medicine Hat Tigers, New West Bruins, and then into the National Hockey League, as you all know, for 393 games with the Capitals, Bruins, Stars, and Flames. And now he's an analyst for the Washington Capitals, and he's made it home. Does it feel like home, Alan?
It does, and it's amazing to see all the people that you knew back then and you hadn't seen, and they go, "Do you remember me?" I go, "How could I ever forget you? These are the most important years of my life." So it's been pretty cool. It doesn't seem like it's grown much, but some of the buildings are a lot newer, and the family I lived with, the boys, even though they've stayed in my life the whole time, they were 3 feet tall when I first got here, and they're both over 6 feet tall now.
Well, and let's be honest with you, this never changes. I've been coming here for years, and they said this, "Why would you come here?" I said, "It's the Centennial Cup. That's why you're here. That's why I'm here." Yep. It's the biggest tournament in the country. 10 teams, Alan. It's exciting.
It is very exciting. And, when they first brought it up to me and asked me if I was coming, and there was kind of an event, a family event yesterday, and I said, as long as the Caps aren't in the playoffs. So I said, either way, I got a good weekend planned. I'm either covering an NHL game or I'm back in Estevan, Saskatchewan, watching the Centennial Cup in this beautiful arena.
Well, isn't it something? Now, you were here speaking. Were you not at a Bruins banquet a few years ago?
Yeah, but we weren't in the building. We were out back somewhere, and I forget what that was. And the arena was empty, and I don't know if it was postseason already, and it was a players' banquet that night, so maybe it was already the end of the year, so I didn't get to see it with the ice in, but it's absolutely phenomenal. And, yeah, to be back here, and it was so cold because I came from Texas to Estevan and that time of year, but it's still good people, and all the kids are doing all the same things every night.
Of course. We'll get around to the Centennial Cup in a second, but I got to ask you about the Stanley Cup Playoffs. We spent the whole opening segment on the Flames and Oilers. Is it a little disappointing as a Capitals guy to see the Panthers wilt to Tampa, given that they knocked you guys out?
Well, I look at what Tampa was able to do to get their game, and then they realized defense and physicality, and I think we talked about that on your show, how once the Tampa Bay Lightning figured that out, and the Panthers were a one-dimensional team. They reminded me of the 2010 Capitals. A lot younger, though. Well, maybe not a lot younger, but maybe a touch older. A touch older, and they're playing a fast break game, and so the Washington Capitals showed how you should do it, but they weren't doing it for 60 minutes a game. And the Lightning have been doing a great job with five-man stack at the blue line. And they've got a lot of finishers who found their rhythm, and Kucherov's not sick anymore. So it doesn't surprise me. And Bobrovsky's a guy that's always been a question mark in the playoffs. And Tampa knows that, and they're shooting for the spots. They know where he's got a weakness. So they're still the champions, and they're playing like champions. They play with confidence, and they know team unity in positioning and everything they do. And, when they start roughhousing even, there's team unity in that. And so you look at that, and I think the Caps softened the Panthers up because they were just pummeling them, and I thought they were hitting them too many times and running out of position. And, they laid a beating on their defensemen, and their defensemen haven't been quite right so far in this series.
Well, for my Florida friends that are watching that are despondent today, can you tell them that the better times are ahead? Because, it's not over yet, but it's over.
Well, NHL players now want to play in Florida for all the right reasons. They're a quality franchise. Their ownership seems like it's so much more stable. Management, and they've had some adversity this year with Joel Quenneville stepping down and all that, but that's a good-looking hockey team. When I look at it, the defensemen that they have and the forwards, the firepower they had, there really was no way the Capitals should have beat them in the playoffs if they weren't committed to playing absolute perfect, committed defensive hockey, puck management. But they're a good-looking hockey team with a lot of great, young, in-their-prime players.
Would you bring Andrew Brunette back?
I have a soft spot for him, so yes. And he doesn't seem to get rattled or phased on the bench. And he had a long career, and he was beloved by his teammates. He's been beloved by this coaching staff. He's an honest man, and I think you have to give him a chance because they still excel. The series still isn't over because that's one of the great things about the playoffs. I've been on some teams that blew it up 3-1, and you never know. There could be Vasilevsky is the Tampa Bay Lightning at this point. He stole the Toronto series. What if he went down? All of a sudden it's a different series. So I still think you just got to wait till someone wins that fourth game to count anyone out. But I still love watching the Florida Panthers play. They kind of become must-watch TV for me.
They're so much fun, and it's been fun following them all year, but this is a sad way to see it end if this is the way that it ends. But to the Battle of Alberta. You're in Canada. That's what everybody's talking about. Did you see it going this way? Speaking of crazy playoffs and not knowing where it's going to go.
When you look at the teams, and Edmonton, you're thinking they're all they were doing. Tippett, all he was doing was playing 30 minutes of Draisaitl and McDavid, and their lines were different every night. And then they get rid of Tippett, and the kid comes in. He starts doing things differently in Woodcroft, and then all of a sudden he's doing things kind of the same. And I think they regroup. But I think a committed Connor McDavid to stopping on pucks and changing his game just ever so slightly. He's still got the offensive effort, but now he's stopping on pucks. He's throwing some hits, and I've got friends that are diehard Oiler fans, and that what is he doing hitting? I said he's setting an example. He's gotten a little bit of Mark Messier going into his Wayne Gretzky type of play. So you look at that, and one of the things when you look at teams, honestly, I'm like, you know what? I think I like the Edmonton mobility of their defensemen a little bit more. Now that they got Darnell Nurse playing properly and not playing spastic and overly physically and a little too cocky, I think he's managing his game better. But you look at Evander Kane, the toughness and the grit that he's added, and now you handicap the Flames. I'm not all that big on their defensemen. They're big, but now you have to play a faster game. Gudbranson and Zadorov, they're having a tough time getting around because Edmonton's coming at them in waves. Rasmus Anderson's supposed to be their best defenseman. He's struggled because he's not a skill speed guy. He gets a lot of pedaling, like power play minutes and things like that. But to me, he's not a skater. Hannafin is, to me, the guy that's got the most mobility, but he's a super ultra defensive defenseman. So I just think that when you have a kind of a glaring weakness like that, to me, it's kind of a weakness that's exposed in the playoffs. And so I'm not really surprised because you still have the best goal scorer in hockey right now is Draisaitl, and to me, pretty much what he's done the last 5 years. Matthews is the big guy this year, but Draisaitl's been doing it, and he's playing riding shotgun with Connor McDavid, which is absolutely phenomenal. I was saying last night, could you imagine if the Oilers pulled a rabbit out of their hat, made a couple trades, got rid of money, and signed Johnny Gaudreau to the big contract? Those three guys together would be just an absolute freak show. It would be like 80s Oilers hockey all over again.
I guess they're trying to free up money to sign Kane as it is. But listen, you were, in your formative years, your terms in the 80s, so I was interviewed today by the Epic Times newspaper, and they said, does this Battle of Alberta compare to the 80s Battle of Alberta? I'm like, nothing will ever compare. Nothing will. This is pretty good, though. But again, he's from Edmonton, by the way, when I say that.
I grew up as a season ticket holder. I had a great childhood, and I was there for all those games. I was there for Gretzky signing his lifetime contract in the WHA, the first NHL games, and the first Stanley Cup game sitting in the stands. And those games were vicious, the Edmonton-Calgary games, and everyone was dropping their gloves, and the elbows, and the chaos and the violence of the way those games were played, which was normal. But those games were just pure hatred, and they were both excellent hockey teams. And then the Winnipeg Jets were an excellent hockey team, but they didn't have what those two teams had. I felt so sorry for Dale Howardchuk as I got older and realized that. But this is really good hockey as far as when you look at rivalry hockey. Edmonton-Pittsburgh has that, or Washington-Pittsburgh has that type of rivalry. And they're fantastic hockey games, but it's different. It's not the same. When they go into a scrum, they're actually not fighting. They're pushing and shoving, and then they're backing off, and they actually listen to the referees. But I love the intensity. I do love the hatred. I love the fans in both towns and how hyper and how much they love their teams and what they're bringing to the games. You start last night with the anthem was just absolutely phenomenal. I watched it just before I came over here. I watched the first period and a half again. And I just was getting a chill watching the anthem, seeing Joey Moss on the screen. And, it's just so much. It means so much to the people of Edmonton, Calgary, what's going on right now. And I love that the players have added their intensity because a lot of times in the NHL, teams are so overcoached. There's a lot of nights that players don't hit. They're positionally play. These guys are putting it all on the line, both teams right now. So it's today's brand of physical hockey. It's awesome.
It's as good as it's going to get, but it's not that. I like your terms, hatred and chaos. That explained 80s Oilers. But let me ask you this. One more, Alan, and then we're going to break. Bernie Nicholls is coming in after the break, and we'll bring Alan back in hour 2. But how are you on momentum? Do you see Game 3 carrying into Game 4 from an Edmonton perspective?
You would hope so. You would think so. And they're going to get a charge from their fans. And McDavid's playing with so much confidence right now. And, some goaltending confidence and the things that they've got. And they may have figured out their game. And Calgary's going to have to really regroup. And they're playing very undisciplined in the series, if you ask me. Very undisciplined. So Edmonton's got to toe the course. And they've got such great leadership in McDavid and that how he rises to the occasion. And he realizes last year he could have been better in the playoffs and getting too frustrated about the non-penalty calls. And I just think that Edmonton is able to carry the momentum.
Alan, we'll see you back here in hour 2. Love the visit.
Thank you, man.
All right, Washington Capitals analyst Alan May, Bruins alum, and you got to tell me the stories. I guess you moved to New West with the team, did you? Obviously, we'll save that for hour 2. But thank you, Alan. By the way, today here at the Centennial Cup, presented by Tim Hortons and the City of Estevan, it's a triple header at noon. Ottawa Junior Senators against the Sioux, both looking for their first win. That's at Noon Mountain. The Flin Flon Bombers, the SJHL runners-up, go up against the Summerside club, the former club of Gerard Gallant. Summerside's 1-1 from PEI, Flin Flon 2-0. And tonight, 7:30, Estevan's season really is on the line against the Red Lake Miners. Both teams are 0-2. That's 7:30 p.m. Mountain. You can watch all the games at hockeycanada.ca. Bernie Nicholls joins us next, NHL ambassador for BetRegal, our exclusive betting partner. When we return, you're watching on the Game Plus TV network. We're also live streaming on YouTube and 24-hour sports radio at rodpedersen.com.
The Rod Pedersen Show, live from Estevan, is presented in part by the award-winning Wanda Heron Photography.
Head to youtube.com/The Rod Pedersen Show now. You gotta subscribe. Click the subscribe button for all the content you may have missed.
A legend throws 713 yards in a single pro football game.
A legend wins 3 Grey Cup MVP awards.
Allen looking deep.
A legend scores 1,209 points in 1,127 NHL games. Play among legends at BetRegal.net.
This is a bedtime story and a rise and shine. A fishing story and an epic night. A place for kids to play and adults to unwind. This is Estevan.
Lot of sun, smoky in the air, that's a lot of pine. Oh, big time, big time, big time, big time.
Does this look familiar? Your fans deserve an incredible arena experience. It's time for an upgrade. Stunning graphics. Revenue opportunities are just the beginning with our in-venue display systems and scoring technology. Let us help you find the best solution for your facility. EDG, always delivering the best fan experience.
Universal Collision Center is Saskatchewan's premier auto body shop. Our extensive process ensures that every vehicle that comes through our state-of-the-art facilities is returned pre-accident condition, and that every UCC customer experience is an easy one. We're certified to repair all makes, all models, and all luxury brands, and Universal Auto Spa offers full-service detailing packages to suit you and your vehicle. Plus, we're the official body shop of your Saskatchewan Rough Riders. Universal Collision Center, 3910 Rochdale Boulevard and 2355 First Avenue in Regina.
Are you ready? It's finally time for your next adventure, and it starts at Capital Ford. Custom order the perfect new vehicle for you, or reserve one of the hundreds that's already built and on its way. Can't wait? Get into a pre-owned vehicle that's already on the lot and ready to rock. Plus, the American Export event is back and bigger than ever. We'll send your vehicle south, making you the most money for your trade. Guaranteed. Oh, and for a limited time, all name brand tires are employee priced. Only at Capital Ford Lincoln. Your adventure starts here.
Business owners and marketers. Okay, we know you think we're pretty cool. That's why we want you to share in the coolness factor. Partner with the Rod Pedersen Show and market your business every weekday to sports lovers just like yourself. Take advantage of our many cost-effective commercial and promotional opportunities. Tell the world about your business. Yes, the world. Thanks to Game Plus TV and the Rod Pedersen Digital Network. Contact us today and find out how you can be a part of Canada's fastest growing sports talk show, The Rod Pedersen Show.
On location at the 2022 Centennial Cup, brought to you by the City of Estevan.
Welcome back to beautiful Estevan, Saskatchewan. You are looking live at the venue that we're in, Affinity Place, the host venue, the Centennial Cup. Well, I just found out this could be a very short segment. We might have to get Alan May back in here. We have not maintained or even established contact with Bernie Nicholls yet, the NHL ambassador for BetRegal. So I'll tell you one thing. The Rod Pedersen Show is brought to you in part by Bronco Plumbing, Heating, and Cooling, the preferred Bronco Plumbing, Heating, and Cooling company of the RP Show. Find everything you need to know about our services, financing, product information, and more at broncoplumbing.com. And Clark's going to tell me the very second that Bernie logs in, but he hasn't heard from Bernie this morning. So I just found that out. It's okay, because all we've been talking about all morning are Stanley Cup playoffs. There are other sports going on, allegedly. Darren's sitting down, and I don't know if you're logging in, but that's okay. You're fine. I can handle this. Hey, you're there. You're on.
Yeah, I'm
By
here.
the way, surprise. Do you want to talk baseball? Did you know the Blue Jays are playing? I feel like nobody cares in this country.
Not right now. Not in the NHL playoffs.
No, Joey Votto belted an 8th-inning homer as the Cincinnati Reds beat the Blue Jays 3-2 Sunday to avoid the series sweep. The shot was Votto's first of the season as the Toronto native was activated from the COVID-19 injury list before the series opener on Friday. He finished the series 3 for 11. Justin Thomas won the PGA Championship for the second time in 5 years on Sunday. Thomas stormed back from 7 shots back to win the second major of the season in a 3-hole playoff with Will Zalatoris. We were talking about Will Zalatoris on Friday. Was it Thursday or Friday?
Yeah.
And I thought, casually watching the PGA Championship results yesterday, not the event, but I'm like, could he win this thing? Would that be the ultimate serendipity if that we were talking about him on Friday
And then he won.
Seems like he's close.
He's very close. And everybody joked. Will Zalatoris was the joke. Not the joke of the PGA Tour, because that's not fair to Will Zalatoris. But he was a meme because he, the resemblance to Adam Sandler's caddy, right? Mm-hmm. In the movie, in Happy Gilmore. But he's a good golfer. He's a hell of a good golfer. And now he's building his own name. He started as the guy that looked like Happy Gilmore's caddy, and now he's the guy who really is that close to winning a major.
So that's what went down Sunday at Southern Hills. Thomas birdied the first 2 playoff holes and then closed with a par. Zalatoris began the day 3 shots back of Mito Pereira. Pereira squandered a 1-shot lead on the 18th when he drove into the creek off the tee and made double bogey. So again, there are a few other things going on in sports. The Golden State Warriors are 1 win away from their first trip to the NBA Finals in 3 years. Steph Curry and Andrew Wiggins carried the Warriors to a 109-100 victory Sunday and a 3 games to none lead over the Mavericks in the Western Conference Final. Game 4 Tuesday in Dallas. So this sports update for Ballers Rec Room. Check out our brand new line of games for the Tab Brewhouse and Drive-Thru Liquor Store, and for Red Bull Canada. Red Bull gives you wings. We'll say that the Tab Brewhouse and Drive-Thru Liquor Store is the one place you never have to ask Moose to have the CFL games put on. And today, there was supposed to be one. It's a holiday Monday, not only in this province of Saskatchewan, but apparently nationally, because Memorial Day is 1 week from today in the States, and we're going to be broadcasting from Dodge City on Memorial Day. That's a week from today. We're all over the place. But there was supposed to be a CFL game, the Winnipeg Blue Bombers against the Saskatchewan Roughriders, 3 p.m. Mountain today at Mosaic Stadium. It got moved back because of the strike. And to be honest with you, this town right here, the energy city of Estevan, Saskatchewan, which has a fluctuating population similar to Canmore, is a huge pocket of the Rider Nation. And I just got a sense that had there been a Rough Riders game in the afternoon at 3 and the Bruins playing tonight would have really put people in a pickle around here.
It would have. They would have wanted to be at the preseason game, even though it's a preseason Rider game. They still would have wanted to go. But this solved all the problems. Now there's no worries because this place will be jammed tonight again. And, I'm looking at the standings going to that game tonight. It's not crazy because you get 3 points for a win. So they can control their own fate if they win both their last 2 games and get a little bit of help.
I think I covered those sports topics. I've got CFL stuff written down here, which we will perhaps get to. Tank Abbott writes, then he says, Roddy is in the Tap House party zone. Don't forget to grab a pretzel and a slice from Pete. And don't forget, Tower Pizza is king. When the games are on, this is as he just said, the Tap House party section. So I think we're going to have to be taking down all our gear and setting it back up every day, which is just fine. This is a very busy spot right here.
Yeah.
But from a football perspective, this is the one thing that I'm realizing now, having been out of the CFL for 3 full years. While the CFL is your focus when you're working for a team in that specific training camp, the rest of the country isn't necessarily paying attention until you're on the field playing games that matter. Even the preseason is touch and go.
Yeah.
For interest's sake, right? Like
it is, for sure.
I'm following there's some great blogs out there that are covering the Stampeders had their red and white game on Saturday. I think the Argos intra-squad game was on Sunday. But the strike and the CFL really disjointed everything. Like, I was sitting, how could the Rough Riders have played a game today if they'd only been in camp for 8 days and hadn't even had a green and white game? How could you do that? I mean, they were going to do it.
Yeah.
But you wouldn't feel like they would be that ready.
No, they wouldn't be. And so it is disjointed, and you wonder what it's going to look like when the season starts. But, you know, the preseason thing, for me, it's about seeing some big names, right? Through former Rider training camps. What excited you about preseason games? Will Vince Young get a chance to play? Paxton Lynch, can we see those names play? This hotshot running back. So that's why we want to watch preseason games as a fan, to see some of those guys in the field and get excited about the future. But in terms of the nuances of position battles, we're not really interested. The results, we're not really interested in. So it kind of gets fans about halfway there, right?
Was at one time, not anymore. Jack Fulton writes in, says, from watching in Vulcan, Alberta, my grandson from Manitoba just finished his first year of college baseball at Williston State and has been asked to come be a part of the bullpen pitching for the Okotoks Dogs. I got tickets for you and Moose. How about that?
Going to Okotoks.
We're going to be in Alberta for, looks like, all of the summer, so Jack will take you up on that. I appreciate it. Carlos Legena, watching in Indianapolis, says it looks like it all worked out for the best, Ben. As Cactus Jack says, and it all turned out nice again. The Rough Riders will not be playing Winnipeg until next Tuesday, and it's allowed this city and Junior A fans from across the country to maintain their focus on this game. Oh, Phyllis writes in, and she says, I live in Manitoba, so I'm cheering for the Winnipeg Ice. Going to be an awesome series. Ho, ho, ho. It already is. They're 1-1 against the Edmonton Oil Kings. The Oil Kings went into Winnipeg on Friday and punched them in the mouth. And the Western Conference Series is 1-1. Kamloops against Seattle. That's the other thing, is we had a great barbecue yesterday with Melody Pearson. She's been billeting the Bruins for 40-plus years, and there was a lot of people there, Moose, that, well, you were there, that said, love your show because of the junior hockey talk. Right?
Yeah.
Nobody else is doing it. So
that's right.
We aim to please. Well, we're going to break and come back, and we'll get into viewer takeover for Taco Time. We're kind of already in it, but John in Edmonton watching, he says the CFL and Stanley Cup playoffs will be on at the same time this year. Not good for attendance at the CFL. Well, I was the guy, as the voice of the Saskatchewan Roughriders for years and years and years, pushing to move the season up because I don't like cold, never have. And then we get out into Alberta, and we do the show for 3 months and go, oh, wait a minute. Maybe we don't want to battle the Stanley Cup playoffs as a CFL, you know?
The CFL...
Not like they moved the season up because I wanted them to, but...
We asked the question last week, what's made the CFL last for so long? And I think it's consistency. They're playing at the right time, you know, and it works for them. Yeah, we got to play in a little bit of cold at the end of the year, but you're competing then with early season NHL hockey. You know, you're
early season NFL.
You're competing with early season NFL though, which is a bit of an issue. But you found they've got their sweet spot in terms of a schedule.
So you don't think it should be moved?
I don't think it should be moved because those Stanley Cup playoffs are way much more of a ratings grabber than the beginning of the season. I'd rather battle them in September and October than I would in the spring.
So now we're saying, move it back, move it back. I always liked the Canada Day kickoff. What are you guys doing in the CFL? John in Edmonton, last comment of the day I'll read from him, but he says, Rod, did you realize the CEBL starts Wednesday? Yeah, John, that's why I was wearing a Saskatchewan Rattlers golf shirt on Friday when I almost drowned or got washed away in South Florida doing the show. Clearly you weren't watching or paying attention. Were you aware that I was aware? We'll be back with viewer takeover. Doesn't look like we'll get Bernie Nicholls today, but that's fine. Mike Morreale, the commissioner of the CEBL, is coming up later on in hour 2 as well. We're live from the Centennial Cup in beautiful Estevan, Saskatchewan, and we'll be right back to Affinity Place after this timeout on the Game Plus TV network. YouTube Live, and if you've missed any portion of the show, you can always catch the podcast wherever the best podcasts are found, including Apple, Stitcher, and Spotify.
The Rod Pedersen Show, live from the 2022 Centennial Cup, proudly presented by the City of Estevan, Saskatchewan, and by award-winning Wanda Heron Photography.
Have you subscribed to the Rod Pedersen Show YouTube channel yet? Head to youtube.com/The Rod Pedersen Show now.
Are you ready? It's finally time for your next adventure, and it starts at Capital GMC. Custom order the perfect new vehicle for you, or reserve one of the hundreds that's already built and on its way. Can't wait? Get into a GM-certified pre-owned vehicle that's on our lot and ready to rock. Plus, the American Export event is back and bigger than ever. We'll send your vehicle south, making you the most money for your trade. Guaranteed. Oh, and for a limited time, all name brand tires are employee priced. Only at Capital GMC. Your adventure starts here.
A legend throws 713 yards in a single pro football game.
A legend wins 3 Grey Cup MVP awards.
Allen looking deep. A legend scores 1,209 points in 1,127 NHL games. Play among legends at BetRegal.net.
Grey Eagle Resort and Casino.
Does this look familiar? Your fans deserve an incredible arena experience. It's time for an upgrade. Stunning graphics. Revenue opportunities are just the beginning with our in-venue display systems and scoring technology. Let us help you find the best solution for your facility. BDG, always delivering the best fan experience.
Bronco Plumbing, Heating, and Cooling. Experts in all residential and commercial plumbing services and proudly serving Regina and area since 1978. Bronco Plumbing, Heating, and Cooling. We'll treat you right.
Some of the challenges we face with the CT technology that we have today is some of the deficiencies in around integration with some of our other systems. The addition of 2 new 4D simulators within the programming at the Saskatchewan Cancer Agency is going to have significant impact on the care we provide to the people of Saskatchewan.
Smoky in the air, that's a lot of pine. Big time, big time, big time, big time.
Hey, Rod Squad, now you can join the team with your very own RP Show gear. Head to rodpedersenshop.com and get yours today while supplies last. It's just like we wear on the show, official RP Show gear at rodpedersenshop.com.
Beautiful Estevan, Saskatchewan, the place to be. We're going to be here all week for the Centennial Cup, presented by Tim Hortons and the Rod Pedersen Show, presented by the City of Estevan. It is taco time viewer takeover, and if it seems like I had a stroke or got stung by a bee, it's because I now have put in my full headphones because they've started rocking music in here, and it's very loud. And for a time, they put our show on, and there was a slight delay, so I was like, arr, talking. But I'm good now. We got the Moose here. No Bernie Nicholls today. But I feel like next hour, when Alan May comes back, and I think he's just standing over here, he's like, when he got up to leave, he's like, Bernie Nicholls is next. How's Bernie? I said, Bernie's great. He goes, I got to tell you a story about a time I walked into a bar in Dallas. Bernie was in there with Jeremy Roenick. Sounds like the start of a joke, doesn't it?
It does. 2
Chicago Blackhawks are sitting in a bar.
How about
Which
that?
one's driving?
Yeah, exactly.
The cop.
Boom.
Yeah. It's not really the joke. There was a joke back in the day when the Rough Riders used to be in trouble all the time with the law. We used to say, 2 Rough Riders are driving in a car. Who's driving? The cop.
Spicy.
It's Taco Time Viewer Takeover. Did you know Taco Time has been around for over 40 years in Canada? This iconic brand and a Canadian favorite serves over 3.2 million burritos, 2.5 million tacos, and over 1 million Mexi fries every year. And they tell me there's a Taco Time in Estevan, Saskatchewan. We have not found it yet. It's a vast city, Moose. I feel like we got to go hunting this afternoon.
Yeah, we haven't looked for it. No, but we will. We'll find it for sure. Maybe tomorrow on Taco Tuesday.
Well, our food and lodgings provided by Days Inn, the award-winning Days Inn, and Willie's Tap House and Tower Restaurant. Should I get serious or should I not get serious?
You do whatever
it's your show. You do
whatever you want. I'm happy.
Staying at the beautiful Days Inn. They've got so many awards that they've got them stacked up in the corner. So I said to the owner, Jeff, I said, you got so many awards, they're stacked in the corner. He's like, I got to build a new trophy case.
He's really proud, too, and he should be.
They win the awards for the best hotel every year, and they earn it.
Because there are a lot of hotels in Estevan.
There's a lot of hotels. There's a lot going on here. Pick up the phone. Wiki. Let us know what's on your mind. Battle of Alberta, CFL scheduling, preseason, blah, blah, blah. 902-518-3033. Or I will stick to the chat because there's a lot going on here. BW in Edmonton says Friday's show was epic. Yeah, epic for you guys. The video's gone from my Instagram story, but my vehicle was almost underwater. I've never... 10 inches of rain in 3 hours, and we're on the air in the middle of it.
Wild.
I feel like it was a God shot.
Yeah.
Preparing me for the summer when it really rains to be ready. Because it's going to get worse.
That's not even the rainy season yet.
That's what they say, no.
Okay.
Last minute of play in hour 1. Last minute of play.
They're just rolling in the pizza. Did you see that?
From Don, our Navy friend, he says, if no Canadian NHL teams are in the late playoffs, the NHL numbers drop, so the CFL can make the calculation that 1 year out of 5 would be an issue for them. Listen, when I work one day at a time, and I left my dang bracelet at home in Florida, I had to get another one. I don't have my 1 day at a time. I feel naked. But I'm like, whoa, we're going to have a Canadian team in the conference final no matter what. It just dawned on me. This country's going to go crazy.
They're going to go nuts.
Flames or Oilers, not a great thing for the CFL, but they should still be able to fill the stadiums with CFL fans, I would think.
Yeah.
Don't you?
Yeah, I do.
Okay, Moose, I'll see you a little later on in the program.
You betcha.
Okay, Alan May's going to kick off hour 2 with us. We got Mike Morreale coming up as well after this break here on Game Plus TV.
Rod Pedersen, back in Canada. He must be lost. On location, brought to you by the city of Estevan. Head to youtube.com/The Rod Pedersen Show now. You gotta subscribe. Click the subscribe button for all the content you may have missed.
Are you ready? It's finally time for your next adventure, and it starts at Capital GMC. Custom order the perfect new vehicle for you, or reserve one of the hundreds that's already built and on its way. Can't wait? Get into a GM-certified pre-owned vehicle that's on our lot and ready to rock. Plus, the American Export event is back and bigger than ever. We'll send your vehicle south, making you the most money for your trade. Guaranteed. Oh, and for a limited time, all name brand tires are employee priced. Only at Capital GMC. Your adventure starts here. Are you ready? It's finally time for your next adventure, and it starts at Capital Ford. Custom order the perfect new vehicle for you, or reserve one of the hundreds that's already built and on its way. Can't wait? Get into a pre-owned vehicle that's already on the lot and ready to rock. Plus, the American Export event is back and bigger than ever. We'll send your vehicle south, making you the most money for your trade. Guaranteed. Oh, and for a limited time, all name brand tires are employee priced. Only at Capital Ford Lincoln. Your adventure starts here.
Nestled in the scenic Qu'Appelle Valley, just 20 minutes northwest of Regina, is one of the finest golf courses in all of Saskatchewan, the Deer Valley Golf Club. The clubhouse has a full-service restaurant, and customers can enjoy a casual dining experience with spectacular views of the golf course and valley. A fully stocked golf shop staffed by PGA of Canada professionals is equipped to meet all of your golf apparel and equipment needs. Book your tee time, family event, or corporate tournament today at the Deer Valley Golf Club. Call 306-731-1445.
Lot of sun, smoky in the air, that's a lot of pine. Oh, big time, big time, big time, big time.
Some of the challenges we face with the CT technology that we have today is some of the deficiencies in around integration with some of our other systems. The addition of 2 new 4D simulators within the programming of the Saskatchewan Cancer Agency is going to have significant impact on the care we provide to the people of Saskatchewan.
Grey Eagle Resort and Casino.
Here's how your business can be a part of Canada's fastest growing sports talk show. All you have to do is contact us, and we will tell you all about the dynamic and exciting marketing opportunities we have, utilizing a fully integrated 360-degree multi-platform. Imagine your business seen and heard across Canada on Game Plus TV and around the world on the Rod Pedersen Digital Network. You will use one of the most overused expressions in sports. You gotta be kidding me. Get your business involved. Contact the Rod Pedersen Show today.
Well, it looks like the show has got past the 5th inning before the rain might stop it, so that'll make it an official show, will it not? No! That's what the Florida Panthers were thinking last night, and they crapped themselves and they lose. I just got hammered with rain again. Oh, here comes the wind. My door's open. Can you take over for a second? You hearing the sirens?
Unbelievable.
This is the Rod Pedersen Show.
It absolutely is. Welcome to Hour 2, everybody, of your favorite daytime sports and entertainment talk show. We're coming to you live from the Centennial Cup, presented by Tim Hortons, and the RP Show, presented by the city of Estevan. We are in the finest Junior A hockey facility in all of the world, Affinity Place in Estevan, Saskatchewan. It's Day 5 of the National Junior A Hockey Championship. We're very excited to welcome to the program NHL veteran, Washington Capitals analyst from NBC Sports, Alan May, Bruins alum, I should mention. He joins us right here in the set at Affinity Place. And Alan, since we last saw you, you saw how fast news travels and happens. We got word that Barry Trotts is going to be introduced this week as the next head coach of the Winnipeg Jets, a man that you know very, very well.
And I am not surprised that he went to one of the 2 Manitoba teams in the National Hockey League, but he went to the one closest to it.
Not Vegas?
The Vegas Wheat Kings, or the Brandon Golden Knights, I refer to them as all the time.
Mm-hmm.
And I look at the rosters when people were saying, which one's he going to take? It's going to be one of those teams. I go, it's a no-brainer. Barry's been around a long time. He's in his 60s. He's got to coach the Winnipeg Jets. And I said, what I don't like their defense as a group, as a whole group. They don't have enough guys that Barry kind of knew, but they got a lot of forwards. And I think with the goaltending that they have in Hellebuck, this is the team for Barry Trotts. And if you can bring Mitch Korn, Hellebuck gets even better. But not surprised, and I'm happy that that's the team he chose, because I think they're a playoff team today. As of right now.
So why weren't they?
You know what? I was never really a Paul Maurice guy. I didn't think he was a get it over the hump kind of guy. And there was something there. I never saw enough structure in the right areas. And I just think with Barry, the defensive structure, and then you have a lot of great offensive players. Kyle Connor, the most underrated player in the National Hockey League when you think of guys that put the puck in the net. And then you got Wheeler and Scheifele and these different players that are really high end. But with the size they have and the skill level they have, that's more Barry Trotts than the Vegas Golden Knights. When I look at the size to play defensive, you play in that arena, smallest arena in the NHL, if you can play a really good defensive physical game and then add the offensive weapons that they have, I think he can turn it around right away. And he's the right kind of guy that, he gets his message across, and players do like him.
Well, so we came into hour 2 very hot. If you've just joined us across Canada on the Game Plus television network or in the 31 United States that carry Game Plus, we are at Affinity Place. It's the National Junior A Hockey Championship. It's a triple header of the top 10 Junior A teams in the country are here for supremacy, and we're into day 5, and the triple header begins at noon Mountain, less than an hour from now. So it's going to get loud in here, warm-ups, and we're just happy to be in the building. We're just happy to be here. So we'll just walk it back here a little bit. We didn't talk a lot, Alan, last hour about the Centennial Cup, and we should. The host Bruins are here. Tonight they play the Red Lake Miners of Ontario, and it's a must-win for both teams. They're 0-2. You and I watched Saturday's Bruins game together. It was not great. They're 0-2. What's your sense of why they are battling for their lives? This tournament's not even half over yet.
Well, I think one of the things is the enormous pressure, and this is all people have been talking about for a few years when they knew they were going to get this. They got into the tournament the right way. They won their league championship, and they did it in the absolute perfect way in 7 games. That's the way I always love to win those big-time series. So you look at that, and they get here, and I just felt like they had they were gripping their sticks, and they weren't being who they were. And, they get behind, and all of a sudden there were some collapses, especially in the last game, and I think their mind had a little too much clutter. They're just boys still. They're teenagers for the most part, and they're still not, their mental game still isn't where it needs to be. And I just felt that game really got away from them mentally, and they're thinking about, damn, we screwed up, and, we still have to play Brooks, and, it just... But I think if they can do a system reset and just worry about the game they're in and the shift they have and the next shift and what they have to do with that puck every shift, play the game that way. Don't think about all the other stuff that happens a couple days from now, and don't overthink. And I would also say to the older players, what they really need to focus on is the pride that you have in yourself as a hockey player. This may be the last couple of hockey games for these kids ever at junior hockey, and who knows what they have in store for them. Is it, some guys will be lucky enough and fortunate enough to play college, and other guys are done. And, go out giving it your all-time best effort and be so proud of yourself if this is your last 1 or 2 games, that the rest of your life, when you look back at your career as an Estevan Bruin or a junior hockey player, that you gave it your all, and you can be proud of yourself forever. Doesn't matter the outcome, just play great every time you can.
And they have a tremendous coach and GM in Jason Tatarnik. He'll be telling them all of that, but it is a must-win tonight, and they got to score a lot of goals. So at noon Mountain, it's the Ottawa Junior Senators versus Sioux. Both teams looking for their first win. At 4 p.m. Mountain, the Flin Flon Bombers 2-0 against Summerside PEI. They're 1-1. And then I mentioned tonight Estevan versus Red Lake. So it's all hockey. It's all you can eat. It's a buffet. Hockey Canada bringing it to us. And I wonder what it was like for you, Alan. You live just outside Dallas. You work for the Capitals as an analyst. Walking in here and seeing the Hockey Canada banners, it's heaven.
Well, it absolutely is. And I think my old arena would still, everything in this arena,
would
including
fit
inside the glass, because we were about, I think, 180 feet by 80 or 75.
It was a matchbox.
It was tiny. And the roof, you could almost touch it with your stick blade, but it was awesome. And there was standing room. This building has 24 suites, and they're awesome. This is an incredible, absolute incredible facility, and the people that put it together, and the price they did it for was, I think,
a steal.
Incredible. You see what happens, and I've been a part of arena builds, and it's been 10 times the cost when they're finished that you thought they were going to be. And this thing is just magic, and it's a city rink too, and they've got 8 dressing rooms on this side that we're on. Then the big time dressing rooms are on the other side. The kids'
NHL caliber.
And the kids' dressing room is better than the one that I'm in Washington, and I think better than the one I've seen in Carolina, and certainly better than what they used to have on Long Island. But it's something special, and it's got to be magical for these kids to come out of midget hockey and start playing junior hockey here.
Well, I look at these old-time junior players like you that played in the old barns, and some of them get upset. They're like, why did I ever play in this? But I always say, you helped build this, and I'm sure you feel that sense.
Well, one of the things we talked about yesterday, you and I, we were at a family gathering, and it's the people of this town. There's something about them that there's a sense of giving back, and I don't know if I could have ever lived in this town for the rest of my life. And kind of a hyper guy when I was a kid, and I'm always kind of doing something now even. And my life has been full of experiences, but to live in a town like this, you stay busy, and the family that I lived with here, they've been volunteering, not just one cause, two cause. Next thing you know, they're on this board and that board, and they were a big part of this arena being built. 75-year-old lady that I lived with, she's not 75.
Let's name her Melody Pearson, going into the Hall of Fame.
Yeah, into the Bruins Hall of Fame, our Alumni Hall of Fame here. She's had hockey players in her house since 1979 or 80. I lived there from 82 to 85, I think it was, and been friends with them my entire life. But her boys are, very important kids that get in this thing built. But I look back, and there's so many volunteers, guys that were on my board of the team and the town executive, that are still in here volunteering in their 70s. And I ask, and they're surprised that I know that. I go, how could I ever forget you?
Right.
These are the most important years of my life. So just a lot of incredible volunteers in this town, and people that make it special. And it's not the prettiest town. It's a working man's town, and people
blue collar,
and these people are just absolutely incredible with their philosophy and attitude to life and giving back and making their community a great place.
Well, I saw this guy Saturday night, and Alan has not stopped smiling since I've seen you. So I didn't really need to ask if you're having as much fun as it seems. It was a rhetorical question. I know that you are. And just the last one for the junior hockey nerd in me. When I look at your DB hockey database, went from Estevan to New West. So did just you go, or did the whole team go?
No,
I apologize. As a kid.
New West came here. I think, though, way back in the 70s, I think all of that change happened. And Ernie McLean, I was here, and I didn't get a scholarship, and we won our league, and we lost in the Western Canadas to Joe Murphy and the Penticton Knights, and he went first overall in the draft. And none of our guys had scholarships, and every Penticton Knight had a scholarship, and it was kind of wearing me down. So I started in Medicine Hat that year, and I could not. The coach and I didn't like him. I didn't like the way he treated people, and I came back here for a little bit, parked myself, and I felt like I had outgrown the league, and I said I'm going to play Canadian college hockey. I was already offered a really good deal at the University of Alberta for my education, and I thought, you know what, I'm going to find a way to play pro hockey. I think I can play pro. Like, I honestly believed. I've never had a doubt that I could, and very delusional.
Well, you did.
But I did, but the path was very abnormal at the time, and I got a call on New Year's Day. Ernie McLean had just taken over from Patty Janelle, and Ernie McLean is a Western Hockey League legend, a legend in these parts. He was here at Estevan Bruin, and he said, Alan, I want you here. I've been watching you for years. I want you to come here. And we'll see what we can make out of this.
You were 20?
Yeah, I was 20. Yeah. So I went as an overage, and I went there, and I had a broken thumb all season long. So I remember I used to get a little upset during a game. I'd be upset at someone. I'd go and I'd be cutting I'd cut my cast off, and I'd tape it up, and I'd go out and get into a fight or something. And it was the dumbest thing. And, just another delusional episode of my life. And but I played for Ernie, and somehow at the end of that year in the Western Hockey League, and Ernie loved me. And he treated me so well. He offered me a coaching job when the season was over, and I still see him to this day in the Vancouver Arena. And I'll see him there, and he's still trucking around, the one-eye man with the patch on his eye, and he's always got big gold rocks in his pocket. He's a gold miner, and he comes in. The last conversation we had when we played junior, he said, "You're not good enough and big enough to play pro hockey in the NHL. And if you go play in the minor leagues, these guys are 6'5", 6'8". It's a tough way to live. The lifestyle is really bad. You won't make a lot of money. You can coach me right now." I said, "No, Ernie, I said, I don't believe anything you're saying. I've never listened to you, and I never will." And it's funny. I get to my very first NHL game at Vancouver as a member of the Washington Capitals, and he's waiting for me as the bus pulls in. He goes, "Damn it, kid, thank God you never, ever listened to me. I'm so proud of you." And every time I go to Vancouver, he takes me around the building and introduces, "This kid never listened to me, and he made it." And he goes, "I've always loved him." And it's just been, it was a good decision by me, but it hurt. I know it hurt this team, and they had a really good team, and we probably could have and would have. You can't say that. We would have had a really good chance of winning the league and winning the Centennial Cup because there were some superstar players here.
Yeah, well, they have a great history, but this franchise, the Estevan Bruins, are the league champions for the first time since 1999. And let me just say this, because next segment, we got about 4 minutes left here. We'll come back and get into a little more of Battle of Alberta, and I think you got to tell your Bernie Nicholls story and some of these other series. But is there something to the fact that the Estevan Bruins won a league championship and they climbed their mountain? Because there are other teams here that just look like they're still climbing and they're very hungry. That has to be part of it, I would think.
Well, one of the things, and I've said this, some of the people they're focusing on the bad right now of what's happened so far for the Bruins in this tournament. I'm a guy that maybe that's where I'm delusional. I've always focused on the good when I look at something. I'm looking for good in these players. And when I look at the tournament, there's 10 teams that won their league championships. So when you think of it, they found a way to win their league championship. They bonded as a team, and I don't know what their backstory is, where they were during the season, but they're all champions as they get here. The Bruins have an enormous amount of pressure. I think there's too much mental clutter going on with the pressure playing in their hometown, but they've got to put that aside and get back to where they were. And I believe it's there, but they were gritty to come together to win their league championship. They had to probably do it in one of the toughest, hardest places to play in provincial junior A hockey, and that's Flin Flon. And that's still the scariest rink I've ever played in my life. And I heard not much has changed about Flin Flon and their fans.
People tell me I have to go. Is it as good as they say? Is it worth the trip?
Only go if you can go by helicopter and get out about an hour later.
I'm flying only if I go, yeah.
My first trip there was an 18-hour bus ride at about 25 miles an hour. There was so much snow on the roads, and the bus, it took forever. And, you weren't stopping back then. And we got in there, and it was one of the wildest weekends of my hockey life ever. And it's about a 6-beer story on a bar stool. It was so terrifying what was going on and off the ice. And it's a place that's a great hockey community. It's got a passion. My favorite NHL player when I was growing up was Bobby Clark, and he came from there, and I know why he was so dang tough, because he grew up playing hockey there, and he grew up there.
Yeah.
And he was redheaded, so I imagine he got picked on a lot.
Who, you've seen every team here this week?
Yes, I have.
Who's the best?
Well, the very first day, I was absolutely in shock when I walked in the arena. The first game I saw was Brooks, and I don't know how to pronounce the Quebec team. Longueuil, yeah. So their skating was so incredible, and I go, man, the quality of coaching has changed, because back when I had one good coach in junior hockey that had X's and O's and plays, and practices were different, but all these kids on every one of these teams, the systems, but those two teams, their systems, but their skating was through the roof. And then I look at the Brooks list, every kid's got a scholarship, and a major, like a D1 scholarship. They're not after Western Hockey League players, or they don't want people that played major junior or plan on playing major junior. They want kids that are going to college, and their skill level was through the roof, and they're very well coached. And it's always easier to coach high skill, and if they listen. And man, they could skate, and just no one on my team could skate like these kids on either of these teams. And I look at the Estevan team; they're excellent skaters too, but those are the two cream of the crop skaters, those two teams.
Well, it's Estevan lining up against Brooks on Wednesday night, but first they got to get through Red Lake Miners tonight. When we come back, we'll talk some more Stanley Cup playoffs. They say that Barry Trotts is going to the Winnipeg Jets. We'll talk more about that in our poll question today, which we invite you to vote on Twitter or YouTube, is Connor McDavid the most dominant player the NHL has ever seen? It's brought to you by Capital Auto Mall Universal Collision Center. We'll get into those results when we return in a moment to Affinity Place in Estevan. The Centennial Cup is presented by Tim Hortons, Hockey Canada, and the City of Estevan. You're watching on Game Plus TV, YouTube Live, and 24-hour sports radio at rodpedersen.com.
The Rod Pedersen Show, live from Estevan, is presented in part by the award-winning Wanda Heron Photography.
Head to youtube.com/The Rod Pedersen Show now. You gotta subscribe. Click the subscribe button for all the content you may have missed.
This is a bedtime story and a rise and shine. A fishing story and an epic night. A place for kids to play and adults to unwind. This is Estevan.
People donate blood for moments like this.
But there are lots of reasons why Canada's Lifeline needs donors every day.
Like the fact that someone with leukemia can need up to 8 units of blood a week.
Or that donated blood lasts no longer than 42 days.
Or to help new moms and babies, like Henry.
There's lots of reasons to donate blood. That's why we need donors every day.
The need for blood is constant. Join Toyota and our Toyota dealers in supporting Canada's Lifeline.
A legend throws 713 yards in a single pro football game.
A legend wins 3 Grey Cup MVP awards.
Allen looking deep.
A legend scores 1,209 points in 1,127 NHL games. Play among legends at BetRegal.net.
Are you ready? It's finally time for your next adventure, and it starts at Capital GMC. Custom order the perfect new vehicle for you, or reserve one of the hundreds that's already built and on its way. Can't wait? Get into a GM-certified pre-owned vehicle that's on our lot and ready to rock. Plus, the American Export event is back and bigger than ever. We'll send your vehicle south, making you the most money for your trade. Guaranteed. Oh, and for a limited time, all name brand tires are employee priced. Only at Capital GMC. Your adventure starts here.
Grey Eagle Resort and Casino.
Nestled in the scenic Qu'Appelle Valley, just 20 minutes northwest of Regina, is one of the finest golf courses in all of Saskatchewan, the Deer Valley Golf Club. The clubhouse has a full-service restaurant, and customers can enjoy a casual dining experience with spectacular views of the golf course and valley. A fully stocked golf shop, staffed by PGA of Canada professionals, is equipped to meet all of your golf apparel and equipment needs. Book your tee time, family event, or corporate tournament today at the Deer Valley Golf Club. Call 306-731-1445.
Here's how your business can be a part of Canada's fastest growing sports talk show. All you have to do is contact us, and we will tell you all about the dynamic and exciting marketing opportunities we have, utilizing a fully integrated 360-degree multi-platform. Imagine your business seen and heard across Canada on Game Plus TV and around the world on the Rod Pedersen Digital Network. You will use one of the most overused expressions in sports. You gotta be kidding me. Get your business involved. Contact the Rod Pedersen Show today.
On location at the 2022 Centennial Cup, brought to you by the City of Estevan.
Live from beautiful City of Estevan, Saskatchewan, it's the Centennial Cup. By the way, promotional consideration for the RP show brought to you in part by Tough Tribe for Men. It contains aloe vera, botanicals, and antioxidants, traditionally known for their scalp and hair benefits. We're part of the clean beauty industry. Welcome to Clean Beauty for Men, available today at toughtribeformen.com. That's the number 4, toughtribeformen.com, and Amazon Canada. And a guy that has some nice hair is Alan May. I think that's maybe why he survived in the television game for so long. Washington Capitals analyst from NBC Sports joining us. Ryan H., watching in Toronto on YouTube, says, it's like we're all hanging out at the rink with Rod today. I love it. We all love it. And I thank the Centennial Cup Committee for bringing us out here in the City of Estevan, Days End, and all the great folks. And Alan May is a Bruins alum, NHL alum, and we're breaking down the news of the day that Barry Trotts is the new head coach of the Winnipeg Jets. We should, for those that just tuned in on Game Plus TV and missed your analysis, Alan, you said, I want to bet. As soon as you heard that, you said, I want to bet. Do you want to say who you bet with, or did you say?
A buddy of mine in D.C. who is actually bets for a living. And I don't bet. I've never made an illegal bet. I don't go to casinos. And I said, we'll put $100 on it that he's going there. He goes, no, he's going to Philly. And my buddy won the first round. He won over $50,000, parlayed the first round. I don't know how many ways. I still don't even know what a parlay is, really. And,
I don't really.
But I won $100 bet with him, and I'm going to collect it as soon as I get back to D.C., and then I'm going to hop on a plane and go somewhere else. But I'm just going back to get that $100 from him.
Well, for our benefit of our Winnipeg viewers, of which we have many on Bell MTS cable out there, Kerry's Game Plus, you said that this is a perfect fit for Trotzy. Can you reiterate why that is?
Well, I think, you start from the net out with Barry Trotz. And so goalies are always a big factor in how well he does. So you take Conor Hellebuck. I don't think their defense, that was a weakness to me when I look at their roster, and all of their defense. It doesn't say that they're not all championship caliber, but their forwards are elite. It's his hometown, basically. And I just thought it made such perfect sense. And I think playing in is it still the MTS Center?
Yep. No, Canada Life Center.
Okay, so Canada Life Center is the smallest arena in the National Hockey League. It's very intimidating to go in there. It's the loudest rink on a night-by-night basis. And you go in there, and I think if he puts a fast brand of physical hockey, because they've got a lot of speed there. He's got Kyle Connor, who is the most underrated goal scorer in the National Hockey League and has just been kicking ass since he's been in the NHL. Undersized guy, and he shows up every game. You've got Scheifele and Wheeler, and I think those two guys can play a lot better all-round game. And he can teach them how to manage the puck better, but they got a lot of great parts there, and he will make Chevy a better GM, and he wants to be there. And he looks at it probably as the greatest opportunity he'd ever had because it's a Canadian NHL team and it's his hometown. And I just think he's right. It's the right place for him to be.
Well, we've been around each other all weekend. What's so awesome is it's been all hockey all the time, whether it be NHL talk, Junior A talk, Major Junior talk, college talk, whatever. It's just hockey talk. And somebody said to me, why did they fire him in Trotts in the Long Island? Why did Lou fire him? And you've been around Lou, you've been around that Patrick division a very long time. Is it simply because they missed the playoffs?
Lou fires coaches. To think of it, what did Barry Trotz, and this is going to sound rude, but what has Barry Trotz done for the New York Islanders? I know the first year they had the largest goals against differential in the history of the
Conference
National
final last year.
But you look at that, but they didn't win anything. They don't put that on the Stanley Cup conference final. And they don't put who you played against in the Stanley Cup. And on the rings now, they actually put the inscription on the inside. They show who you played. They have the other team's logo in there and the amount of games it took to beat them. But he hasn't won. And Lou Lamoriello's fired coaches that are in first place a week or two before the playoffs started and won the Stanley Cup. So there's something that he did not like in Barry's game, and it probably is the lack of offensive output, a little too safe. The year they won in Washington, they played physical, they played safe, and the young guys were on the ice scoring goals, and they lit it up at times, and there was an offensive element to their game. And I think they digressed offensively, and their young players seemed like they were getting frustrated with the coach, and the young players are the lifeblood of that team if they're going to need to score goals. And I would think it had to do with something like that. And to me, it's just a Barry. He'll learn. He'll look back at it honestly. He goes, I did make mistakes. I did do something. Maybe I over-rotated defensively, and I get it back to a little more what I was doing in Washington, because his message is a lot louder now, and the Islanders really heard it. They had a Stanley Cup coach come and coach them, not some guy with his first coaching job. So you look at Barry was a Stanley Cup coach when he left Washington. He gets there. All of a sudden he's got everyone's ear, but they didn't progress from there enough. And I look, this is so hard, and there are so many reasons why they shouldn't have made the playoffs this year, and then they had key injuries, but they started on the road forever. And then they got home. Everyone got COVID off the bat. I think 8-9 guys for the first 3 or 4 games in their new arena had COVID, and they got their asses kicked. So I look at that. There's a lot of things that went against it. And obviously there was just something that Lou saw that he didn't like. And Lou's a picky guy. He dresses the exact same way every day. He's a perfect dresser. He's like, there's something about him. And the assistant coaches aren't allowed to have to do media interviews, the facial hair thing. He's very particular.
But it's worked.
There's something particular that he did not like. And there might be a coach from Saskatchewan that he's got in mind for that job. So who knows?
Okay. Well, you have your finger on everything, and I don't want to put you on the spot here, but Vegas, they interviewed Trotzy. I should stop. Before I go and look at those other jobs, Jets fans are excited. You feel they have reason to be excited. They say there's a culture problem there. You think he can fix it?
He's a culture guy. One thing he's done, David Poile and him created an incredible, hardworking, family unity type of culture, family-first type of team, and you hear that in sports all the time. They have an app with the Nashville Predators that gives you every doctor. So when someone comes there, they have a team services guy. So they make you at home from day one. If you have children with issues or anything, you have any type of health, and they take care of your families when they come to town. They do that. Washington already had that because David Poile implemented that. The Islanders, I'm sure, got way better at it. And I think that the culture that he will bring, and he's a good man, he's a great man, the trickle-down effect of caring for his players and learning from his past mistakes, that's what's going to really help the culture of Winnipeg get to the next level, and I think they're going to be a far better team for it.
If you've just turned your TVs on, we're live from the Centennial Cup presented by Tim Hortons in Estevan, Saskatchewan. Our show presented by the city of Estevan, and coming up at Noon Mountain, it is a battle of winless teams. The Ottawa Junior Senators 0-1 versus the Sioux. They are 0-2. So that's the reason for the sound. It's getting a little crazy in here. They said to me, Alan, can you handle it? I said, I've done games in 60,000 stadiums. I'll be fine, but haven't handled it yet. It does get loud in here.
That's why I went to the better headphones here. It's incredible to be in an arena. You would think, are they playing a game right now? No, it's a warm-up. Start of the warm-up. Start of the warm-up. So it's awesome to be in arena. And, if you could do your show in an arena that's got hockey
do it
in it
every day.
yeah, absolutely.
Of course. They did tell me that for Game 7 of the league final here, that Estevan and Flin Flon were in, that the glass was shaking, and I could see it. I could see that happening.
Yeah, one of my favorite things about this arena is it's got the greatest standing room tickets in the history of hockey, and it always has. Even in the old barn, there's a rail around the building that they sold for standing room only, and that's packed every single game, no matter whether it's regular season. But that's one of the things, the old-timers here dominate the brass rail around the arena.
I know before my producers at IKS tell me if you can pull that mic right in close, it might help with the noise. But we are talking hockey. There are tonight 2 Stanley Cup playoff games. We have not even got into the Colorado-St. Louis series. The Avalanche lead 2-1. The game's in St. Louis. A lot of guys are telling me watch out for the Blues, and I guess now we know why.
Well, I'm a big-time believer in Craig Berube and the Blues, and he's got a big hockey team that they slowed down after the first game. They slowed down the Avalanche, and even in the last few games, the Avalanche have been slowed down speed-wise, fast break-wise, and St. Louis taking away the middle of the ice. But with no Jordan Binnington, they've been goaltending issues in almost every series so far, and the amount of goaltenders might be a record at this point. So early in the Stanley Cup playoffs, but Binnington is a battler, and he's got a chip on his shoulder, and
it's a big loss.
Yeah, playoffs are his time, so that really hurts them. But once again, they won the Stanley Cup just a few years ago, and they can band together. So I'm still expecting, a long series here between St. Louis and the Avs.
That's the later game. The earlier game tonight is, of course, Florida at Tampa Bay. The Lightning go for the sweep at Amalie Arena. Is there any way that the Lightning don't finish it off tonight?
Toughest game to win is a 4-game sweep, and so it's going to be a hard-pressed, for Florida just to throw in the towel, and we'll see what they're made of. And they got a goaltending issue, maybe questioning himself. He doesn't have a very good record in the playoffs. He's an excellent goaltender, but Tampa knows his weakness. It's long shots with traffic, and they have to continue doing that. And that arena in Tampa, I'm assuming you've been there many times now.
Beautiful. Yeah.
It might be the best game production, and they rally in the playoffs. So I still believe in the Tampa Bay Lightning. I've had them to win this series, and I think they're going to pull it off.
Now, I must circle back before I let Alan go, because this is our final segment. Thank you, Trotts. Hopefully he doesn't get too far away, because I know you want to chat with him. Don't go too far, Trotts. Alan, don't go too far. He wants to talk to you. Battle of Alberta. Flames Oilers again, just to circle, because Alan's leaving. What time are you going tomorrow? First thing?
No, in the afternoon.
Oh, in the afternoon?
I got a 3 o'clock flight.
About that series, did you see the Oilers leading at any point in this series? I mean, I know it's the playoffs, expect the unexpected, but I didn't see this coming.
Well, I'm a little bit delusional, as I told you earlier. I'm an Edmonton guy.
Yeah.
And so I've been watching all the Oilers games since my career ended. And I've always had a satellite. I've always had a way to get games. And Connor Mcdavid went next level in that LA series, and I thought once he went next level in Game 6 with the physicality, the defensive commitment that he had, I thought that they could definitely win this series, and he would light up the defensemen, but it was a matter of everyone else stepping up. No one knew Evander Kane would have 10 goals right now, and he had a hat trick yesterday and 10 hits, and this guy has come to play. No matter what, the noise is quieted from him off the ice, and I had a belief that Edmonton would do this.
Was that your heart or your head, or both?
Well, I never know when it comes to the Oilers. Kind of like in a Capitals series, there's a part of me, and it's different than if I worked in Canada for Sportsnet or TSN. I work for NBC Sports Washington. I'm on the board of directors of the Capitals alumni. I also work for the Washington Capitals in different capacities. So I always want them to do well, and I told you I'm always looking for good. So it goes with my heart. But I also fill out 2 brackets at NHL.com for the Stanley Cup. One is totally devoid of my heart picking the series, and the other one is all the grumpy old man. The old grumpy old man. Yeah. And one bracket always kicks the hell out of the other one.
Well, so my last question to you in the 3 minutes we have is our poll question today for Capital Auto Mall Universal Collision Center. And I haven't looked at the results in an hour, so I don't know what they are, but is Connor Mcdavid the most dominant player the National Hockey League has ever seen? Because to me it certainly seems that way, but you played against Wayne and Mario and those guys. So how would you answer that question?
Recency says yes. A lifetime in hockey says no, not yet. Because the G-Man won those Stanley Cups. He scored 92 goals in a season. He had over 200 points a year. Dressed. Then again, goaltending was a lot different. Coaching was nowhere near what it was now. Right now, modern day, since the lockout, he's the best thing. But I still haven't passed the mantle to him from Crosby, because I'm a grumpy old man that still believes, and that part of me believes, look at everything Sid has done, like the all-round game, the physicality, blocking shots, face-offs, the leadership. He's won Stanley Cups 3 now, so I still have a hard time saying that Sidney Crosby wasn't the greatest thing since the lockout started.
Love Ovechkin, too.
And I look at, but you build the centers and defense and goalies, and Ovechkin's the best goal scorer in this era. And even when he passes Gretz, I don't know if I passed the mantle yet, because he's going to be longevity. Gretz did that all by the age. He was already done playing hockey by now. And Ovi still got a few hundred goals.
Unbelievable.
Yes, and to see what he was able to do in games and the playoffs. So you take the evolution of the game and everything. So I still have Gretz as the greatest of all time. And it was hard for me to do, because I thought Bobby Orr, and I didn't get to see the other guys in the past, but oh my God, the things Gretzky was able to do. So, people will get mad. It's my opinion, but I've been in the game my whole life, and Wayne Gretzky's my guy.
Yeah,
and
you're certainly allowed.
And I still love Connor McDavid, and he's made Edmonton must-watch for a good reason now, because there were so many years I was throwing things and upset watching how the Oilers were playing, and he's brought life to that city. I love it.
Alan May, thank you so much for everything, and enjoy the hockey.
Yeah, I'm so happy I was able to finally do this with you in person, and like I said, way taller in person.
You too. I couldn't believe it. Alan May, Washington Capitals analyst, joining us here at the Centennial Cup. When we come back, we'll be joined by Mike Morreale, the commissioner of the Canadian Elite Basketball League, as they tip off this week. You're watching on the Game Plus TV network, YouTube Live, and 24-hour sports radio, streaming now at rodpedersen.com.
Rod Pedersen, back in Canada. He must be lost. On location, brought to you by the city of Estevan. Head to youtube.com/The Rod Pedersen Show now. You gotta subscribe. Click the subscribe button for all the content you may have missed.
People donate blood for moments like this.
But there are lots of reasons why Canada's Lifeline needs donors every day.
Like the fact that someone with leukemia can need up to 8 units of blood a week.
Or that donated blood lasts no longer than 42 days.
Or to help new moms and babies, like Henry.
There's lots of reasons to donate blood. That's why we need donors every day.
The need for blood is constant. Join Toyota and our Toyota dealers in supporting Canada's Lifeline.
Bronco Plumbing, Heating, and Cooling. Experts in all residential and commercial plumbing services, and proudly serving Regina and area since 1978. Bronco Plumbing, Heating, and Cooling. We'll treat you right.
Hey, Rod Squad, now you can join the team with your very own RP Show gear. Head to rodpedersenshop.com and get yours today while supplies last. It's just like we wear on the show, official RP Show gear at rodpedersenshop.com.
Are you ready? It's finally time for your next adventure, and it starts at Capital Ford. Custom order the perfect new vehicle for you, or reserve one of the hundreds that's already built and on its way. Can't wait? Get into a pre-owned vehicle that's already on the lot and ready to rock. Plus, the American Export event is back and bigger than ever. We'll send your vehicle south, making you the most money for your trade. Guaranteed. Oh, and for a limited time, all name brand tires are employee priced. Only at Capital Ford Lincoln. Your adventure starts here.
Does this look familiar? Your fans deserve an incredible arena experience. It's time for an upgrade. Stunning graphics. Revenue opportunities are just the beginning with our in-venue display systems and scoring technology. Let us help you find the best solution for your facility. DDG, always delivering the best fan experience.
Smoky in the air, that's a lot of pine. Oh, big time, big time, big time, big time. Big time.
Universal Collision Center is Saskatchewan's premier auto body shop. Our extensive process ensures that every vehicle that comes through our state-of-the-art facilities is returned pre-accident condition, and that every UCC customer experience is an easy one. We're certified to repair all makes, all models, and all luxury brands, and Universal Auto Spa offers full-service detailing packages to suit you and your vehicle. Plus, we're the official body shop of your Saskatchewan Rough Riders. Universal Collision Center, 3910 Rochdale Boulevard and 2355 First Avenue in Regina.
Here's how your business can be a part of Canada's fastest growing sports talk show. All you have to do is contact us, and we will tell you all about the dynamic and exciting marketing opportunities we have, utilizing a fully integrated 360-degree multi-platform. Imagine your business seen and heard across Canada on Game Plus TV and around the world on the Rod Pedersen Digital Network. You will use one of the most overused expressions in sports. You gotta be kidding me. Get your business involved. Contact the Rod Pedersen Show today.
All right, welcome back, everybody, to beautiful Affinity Place in Estevan, Saskatchewan. A live look-in. It's bedlam here as we get ready for the start of this Monday tripleheader at the Centennial Cup presented by Tim Hortons. All is good in the world. I got it. My Theo jersey has shown up. Thank you to the Estevan Bruins for keeping it so safely for me. Thursday night is the big Bruins Sportsman's Dinner, and that was my donation to the dinner. That jersey had gotten lost somewhere along the way, but we found it today. All is good. Sioux, Ontario versus the Ottawa Junior Senators at Noon Mountain. Both teams looking for their first victory of the tournament here at Noon Mountain. You can follow along, watch the live stream at hockeycanada.ca. 4 p.m., it's the Flin Flon Bombers 2-0 versus Summerside PEI. They're 1-1. And then tonight, a battle of winless teams. The Estevan Bruins must win, and by a lot. If they have any chance of winning this, the host team here in their own facility, they're playing the Red Lake Miners, 7:30 p.m. Mountain. That game can be watched at hockeycanada.ca as well. By the way, the program's brought to you in part by Rockstar Supply Chain Solutions. They specialize in improving your company's performance and bottom line through supply chain management services. And brought to you in part by Estevan's Power Dodge. Today's program, very big week in the Canadian Elite Basketball League as well, the biggest. And we welcome their commissioner, our good friend Mike Morreale, as they kick it off with 3 games of their own. Speaking of, about triple headers, Commish, welcome to the RP Show again. How are we feeling getting ready here to open the season on Wednesday night?
We're feeling excited. We're feeling refreshed, and we're really pumped about. Oh, it got loud there all of a sudden, didn't it, Rod? We're really pumped about what's to come, and really getting back to fans in the stands, and really now across the country, 3 different new markets, coast to coast, and I couldn't be more excited.
Well, I'm looking at the schedule. I'm looking at your website where all the best information can be found, CEBL.ca. Let's talk about Wednesday's games. Montreal Alliance versus Hamilton. Ottawa Blackjacks, they're not new, but they haven't been around for that long. Saskatchewan Rattlers and the Niagara River Lions. But between Scarborough and Montreal, there's a lot of exciting things going on. To have made it this far through COVID is exciting, Mike, but this is a new look CEBL this year, so tell our viewers about it.
Yeah, we've grown quite a bit over the last little while. Went from 6 teams in 2019 to 7 in 2020, Ottawa being the additional one. And now we sit here as the largest pro league in Canada of any sport. So we're really pumped about that. Certainly not something we were gunning for, but one that it's in our plate, and we have a responsibility now to make it a special one. So we have 3 new teams, 3 new markets out in Newfoundland and St. John's. We're excited about the Rattlers and what they're going to do there, and the rich tradition of just sport fanatics out on the East Coast. Of course, Montreal being our largest market and our largest Francophone market, and just the rise of basketball in Quebec in general is through the roof. And then in Scarborough, we just seem to kind of hit a home run with a market there that's led by our first external ownership with Nico from OVO, Sam Ibrahim. They bring firepower, and if anybody a few days ago, I think you know exactly what I mean by that.
You might have players going from the CEBL to the NBA. Amani Brooks, Xavier Moon, who's been on this show. What has that done for your league?
It's proven that the pathway exists, and it's now provided opportunities for new agents and new players, new awareness of the fact that you can remain in North America in a domestic league, not have to jump through hoops to go overseas, learn a new language, eat new food, be in strange places. For a lot of North Americans, it is a difficult experience. So, being in North America, being in Canada, in a draw, the ability for us to graduate players to the NBA is tremendous. It's something we thought of in our wildest dreams, and we had 5 guys go there last year. But more importantly, we're here to showcase our players, develop them. If the NBA is the end goal, by all means, and if it's a better job in a European league, then that's great too. And if it means they stay here all year round us out in the off season with our Champions League games and then back to a CBL season, that's really, it's starting to really come together.
I feel like you're still a startup. I think you would agree. I think the biggest stumbling block for the CEBL is just simply getting the word out, because the product is so amazing. The level of play is getting higher. You just mentioned you got players going to the NBA. You got NBA coaches coming into your league. Saskatchewan Rattlers come to mind. Am I wrong that just getting the word out is the biggest? Like, it would help if the national networks would cover it. We know our thoughts on that. But what are the other stumbling blocks for this league?
It's all about awareness, right? It really is, to your point. It's about whenever you're a startup in anything, you have to earn your stripes. You have to work a lot harder. You have to invest into your business. For us, it's no different. And, we are a league that's centrally owned. That allows us some real advantages. And then it also comes with some disadvantages, that we don't have the big local ownership group in market that waves the flag and connects to their local communities, et cetera, and gets deeper and deeper and kind of takes it the rest of the way. We bring it so far, and then it can be kind of monetized beyond that. But we do everything. And the beauty of that is we do it well, and we gain because we earn it. So when we have a big announcement like we did the other day with J. Cole, that to me is just an important part in the growth of the game. Now hundreds and hundreds of thousands of people know who the CBL is, and they're aware of us. And that just means it shines a light on our great players and the great league that we have.
John in Edmonton, watching, one of our viewers in the chat, says, finally some CEBL talk. It can't all be hockey and football, Rod. Xavier Moon is coming to Edmonton on Friday to sign autographs and watch the game, so they're engaged in Edmonton. Let's just talk about, if you can, Mike, give me your best pitch on opening week for the CEBL, why people in these markets, 10 across the country, 5 I guess are at home, should buy tickets and go watch the games.
Well, I think you're going to find the best basketball played outside of the Toronto Raptors. And if you're not from Ontario, go to a Raptor game is not only difficult, it's expensive. So let us bring the game to you, but also let's bring the entertainment to you as well, and showcase some of our top Canadian players, many of which will have been born or grew up or went to school in some of the markets that we currently play in. So you're going to see high level NBA-ready talent, NBA talent specs, G League talent, big name overseas talent. We just added international roster spots. You're going to see some of the best international FIBA players in the world now being on courts in Canada. It really is, it's a long time coming. It's a great value for what you get. And you get high-level basketball, tons of entertainment, tons of excitement, and something you can wave the Canadian flag behind. I think that's a real important part of it as well.
Oh, there's no doubt about that. And as a matter of fact, from Clark, he says, J. Cole signing in Scarborough is huge for the league. Well done. Exciting to see what kind of hype he brings to this league. And I'll just tell you, because you're a sports guy, you would appreciate this. We're in the Canadian National Junior A Hockey Championship here. Every ticket package sold out before they even dropped the puck. Every sponsorship package sold out, and it worked out to $12.50 a ticket. $12.50, Mike, a ticket for the games, and they sold it out. Like, there are leagues that do that. You don't have to gouge people. And maybe while we're sitting here, talk about your championship weekend, because it's going to be in Ottawa, August 10th to the 14th. This is a very similar kind of imprint of what you guys do. Oh, we lost Mike's. Sorry, we lost Mike's sound. So we'll let him go. We're out of time anyways, but we'll bring Mike back again to talk about it throughout the CEBL season. And for everything you need to know, the schedule, championship weekend information, It's all at CEBL.ca. We have another special guest when we come back to Affinity Place right after this for the final segment, viewer takeover for Taco Time. Stick around. One brief pause left. And it's right now. You're watching on the Game Plus TV network, YouTube Live, and of course, 24-hour sports radio streaming at rodpedersen.com.
The Rod Pedersen Show, live from the 2022 Centennial Cup, proudly presented by the city of Estevan, Saskatchewan, and by award-winning Wanda Heron Photography.
Have you subscribed to the Rod Pedersen Show YouTube channel yet? Head to youtube.com/The Rod Pedersen Show now.
Are you ready? It's finally time for your next adventure, and it starts at Capital GMC. Custom order the perfect new vehicle for you, or reserve one of the hundreds that's already built and on its way. Can't wait? Get into a GM-certified pre-owned vehicle that's on our lot and ready to rock. Plus, the American Export event is back and bigger than ever. We'll send your vehicle south, making you the most money for your trade. Guaranteed. Oh, and for a limited time, all name brand tires are employee priced. Only at Capital GMC. Your adventure starts here.
Grey Eagle Resort and Casino.
Some of the challenges we face with the CT technology that we have today is some of the deficiencies in around integration with some of our other systems. The addition of 2 new 4D simulators within the programming at the Saskatchewan Cancer Agency is going to have significant impact on the care we provide to the people of Saskatchewan.
Bronco Plumbing, Heating and Cooling. Experts in all residential and commercial plumbing services, and proudly serving Regina and area since 1978. Bronco Plumbing, Heating and Cooling. We'll treat you right.
People donate blood for moments like this.
But there are lots of reasons why Canada's Lifeline needs donors every day.
Like the fact that someone with leukemia can need up to 8 units of blood a week.
Or that donated blood lasts no longer than 42 days.
Or to help new moms and babies, like Henry.
There's lots of reasons to donate blood. That's why we need donors every day.
The need for blood is constant. Join Toyota and our Toyota dealers in supporting Canada's Lifeline.
Nestled in the scenic Qu'Appelle Valley, just 20 minutes northwest of Regina, is one of the finest golf courses in all of Saskatchewan, the Deer Valley Golf Club. The clubhouse has a full-service restaurant, and customers can enjoy a casual dining experience with spectacular views of the golf course and valley. A fully stocked golf shop, staffed by PGA of Canada professionals, is equipped to meet all of your golf apparel and equipment needs. Book your tee time, family event, or corporate tournament today at the Deer Valley Golf Club. Call 306-731-1445.
This is a bedtime story and a rise and shine. A fishing story and an epic night. A place for kids to play and adults to unwind. This is Estevan.
Hey Rod Squad, now you can join the team with your very own RP Show gear. Head to rodpedersenshop.com and get yours today while supplies last. It's just like we wear on the show, official RP Show gear at rodpedersenshop.com.
On location at the 2022 Centennial Cup, brought to you by the city of Estevan.
Oh, here we are. It has been a very fast 2 hours. You're looking live at Affinity Place, Estevan, Saskatchewan. Beautiful sunny day, game day, Noon Mountain. It's Ottawa versus Sioux, 2 winless teams here at the Centennial Cup, presented by Tim Hortons. And I'll tell you again, I'm just so excited. I feel like this should be displayed somewhere a little more prominently. Theo's jersey has shown up. It'll be one of the items up for grabs at Thursday night Sportsman's Dinner, the annual Estevan Bruins Sportsman's Dinner here as part of the Centennial Cup. Okay, we've covered a lot of ground, and here in this Taco Time viewer takeover segment, we welcome the mouth of the South, Robbie Mahan, the voice of the Prince Albert Raiders, formerly the Estevan Bruins. He's loud and proud, a Winnipegger by trade. You represent a lot of regions, Rob.
I wear a lot of hats and a lot of hoodies, too, as it turns out. I figured if I was going to be here, I had better represent.
You're still not calling it Bunny Hug after all these years in the province?
You know, it's funny. I talked to some of the Manitoba-born Raiders this year about that, and half of them had never heard it. So Saskatchewan's letting the side down, not telling people that it's Bunny Hug, not hoodie.
It's a Bunny Hug, yes. Hockey guy. They call him the mouth of the South. And as we are talking hockey today, the big news, I don't know if it's been made official yet by the Winnipeg Jets, but everybody's saying the Jets, your hometown team, will be introducing Barry Trotts as their next head coach. And you say the hockey fans in your hometown are very excited about it.
Yeah, I think if that is in fact confirmed, a lot of Winnipeg fans will be very happy. He's a local guy, which holds a lot of water in Winnipeg, but he's also just proven, and he's proven successful, and he's proven to be good with defensive structure, which if you watch the Jets at all last year, you know, that was a bit of a stumbling block. Yeah, you put it a little less delicately than I did, but you're probably closer to right.
So talk about the Centennial Cup, if you don't mind. You spent all these years as the voice of the Bruins, and then you leave, and they get the national championship and win the league. How's that feel?
You know what? It still feels pretty good to see the city celebrate like this, I've got to say. It would have been nice to be on the call, don't get me wrong, but an opportunity like the one in PA, I couldn't turn down. So to come back here, I'm here purely as a fan. There's no professional capacity to this one. I just get to come back and enjoy it, which is kind of nice because it has been really enjoyable hockey. And all these years working in this facility, I definitely was aware of how beautiful it really is, but coming back here and just experiencing it from a fan's perspective, you get another appreciation for, holy smokes, this is a Junior A arena in the middle of Saskatchewan, and it puts leagues, you know, higher up the food chain to shame in some cases. This is just such a gorgeous facility. It's good to see them host the Nationals.
Well, I always thought, and somebody, I can't remember who I was talking to this morning, they said, you're just from up the road. Oh, it was the Epoch Times newspaper. They said, you're from just up the road. And I said, yes. And for that reason, I was always hesitant to say that this is the greatest Junior A facility in the country because I didn't want to appear too biased. But now we have all the 10 teams here from across the country. They're like, yeah, it's the best. And that's a nice feeling.
Oh, it's got to be. And, I mean, the city deserves it. I mean, they've been passionately supporting this team for such a long time. I was here for a run to the finals that unfortunately did not end as well as the most recent run did for the Bruins in that 2017-18 season. They came within a goal in Game 7, but that was as close as they'd been for a very long time. And the city deserved a winner, and they got one this year. So it was really pleasing to see that.
Well, this is not, for our hockey fans, there's a reason that we are here. It is to broadcast our show from the Centennial Cup and somewhat show off this arena and this town, as we're brought to you in part by the city of Estevan. Today's show for Power Dodge. But we got in a little late. Let's just set the scene. I said at the start of the broadcast, Robbie, that I felt like a not as good-looking, more poorly dressed James Duthie sitting here on the concourse setting the scene. It's day 5. And if the Estevan Bruins don't win tonight, it is over. Their flame is flickering as it is going into tonight's game. So tell our viewers the scene for tonight's game against Red Lake and the other 2 games that will go on before it.
Well, it's a wing and a prayer for the Bruins at this point. You have to win. You got to control what you can control. You do need to win both your games to stay alive, and you're going to need help elsewhere, which you never want to have to count on. But when they lost that first one to the Quebec representative, College Longueuil, and then lost another one to Pickering, they put themselves in a position where they need help elsewhere. And before that, you get 2 teams. You said it earlier. They're both winless. Northern Ontario representatives, the Sioux. I got to say, I could hear their fans when they're coming onto the ice, and I've been really impressed with the way fans of all these teams have traveled, incidentally.
Every team's got their fans.
Every team, and even the team from the Maritimes, their Summerside, they're thousands of miles from home, and they've got fans in their jerseys. They were sitting across from me there in the game I saw them play against Dauphin yesterday, so the fan bases have really shown up for this. And then I know the Ottawa Junior Senators are probably pretty disappointed, like the Bruins. They probably felt that they could have won their first 2 games, won neither of them. So they're in a similar boat to what the Bruins are.
Well, it's funny because you've been standing off the set here for about an hour, and there's a conversation going on about 15 feet from me right now that I would give a limb to listen to, and it is Alan May, the Stanley Cup champion, Washington Capitals analyst, with Jason Tatarnic, the head coach and GM of the Bruins. Wouldn't you love to hear what they're talking about right now with regards to this game because the Bruins had a lead in these 2 games that they blew. It's all here.
They had 2 2-goal leads against Pickering. They had 1 2-goal lead against Longueuil. And realistically, when you have those leads, you do have to win. And I don't think Jason Tatarnic is hiding from that fact at all. I think he's been pretty open about the fact that he's disappointed that his team, with those leads, came away with no points in either one of those games. But, yeah, wouldn't you love to be a fly on that particular, I guess not wall, but curtain.
On that curtain, yeah. Just a couple seconds left here. Actually, 90 seconds. Producer Clark telling me, Battle of Alberta. Where are you on what's going on in that chaotic series?
I am, by birth almost, a Colorado Avalanche fan. So what I want is 2 things. I want to be entertained, which I very much have been, and I want whoever comes out of that series to be as beaten up as humanly possible because they're probably going to get Colorado in the next round. But it's been wildly entertaining. I was licking my chops when I found out we were getting a Battle of Alberta. That hasn't happened in the playoffs in my lifetime, and I'm just thrilled to see it come out.
Last minute of play in the RP show. Last minute of play. If you want to know what the best job in the world is, it's right here. Spending 2 hours in the morning talking sports and then going to be watching hockey all day. It's a literal all-you-can-eat buffet of hockey, Tim Hortons coffee, and donuts. And for my friends in PA, as you follow my footsteps a little bit as I was the voice of the Raiders, we got to talk about the Raiders in 45 seconds or less here. Tough sweep at the hands of the ice, but to make the playoffs was big.
Yeah, getting that 1 win over the Winnipeg Ice in Prince Albert really injected some life into the crowd there, and it was nice to see the fans turn out. Tough year, and when you trade the best defenseman in the country, which I don't think many people would argue that Caden Gooley wasn't that, it obviously changes the expectations, but they made the playoffs. They got in. They look good.
Mouth of the South, good to see you. Enjoy the hockey. All right, we'll be back here tomorrow. Brent Ladd, the president of the CJHL, will be with us, and more guests, noon Eastern, here on Game Plus TV. Let's make some noise!